along the lines of the diversity, I already mentioned that this was a very, very diverse condition. There are some people who progress rapidly. There are other people who almost seem to not progress much at all. Like I said, we are working to try and figure out why that is. But we have designed a survey at Bastyr University, where I work, where I have been trying to take advantage of the diversity in the field. It's called heterogeneity. And that a heterogeneous group just means that there is a whole bunch of diversity. And you can see on this next chart that every one of the dots that you see on this chart is actually a person with Parkinson's disease. And what we've done is we've plotted each individual person according to how many years since they've been diagnosed. And if your score is under 500, your quality of life tends to be reported as excellent. And that includes social health, physical health, emotional health, ability to carry out daily functions. Scores between 500 and 1,000 tend to be associated with good quality of life. Once you go over 1,000, once your Pro-PD score goes up over 1,000, is where people start to say, you know, I'm fair. I'm not as great as I used to be. Statistically, that tends to happen around year 10. And then above 1,500, people's quality of life is really quite poor. And so you can get your own Pro-PD score by going to propd.org on the website and getting your own Parkinson's severity score. It's free. And this is a tool that we've created to really be patient-centered. What we did is we got sick of physicians and research studies trying to only capture the motor symptoms. As you know, symptoms fluctuate a lot over the course of the day. And so what we wanted to do is design a outcome measure that would allow you to track your own symptoms. It would allow us clinicians to fairly quickly and easily see where the problem areas are. And more than anything, we needed for this to correlate with quality of life. And so this Pro-PD outcome measure seems to be working really quite well for us. But you can go and get your own score and kind of see how you compare to other people who were diagnosed 2 years ago. The typical person at diagnosis has a score of about 580. And so the statistically normal rate of progression is approximately 38 points per year. And the goal here is we're going to slow that down. I want you to not only not progress at the rate of 38 points per year, I want to slow that curve, if not straighten it, and ideally reverse it. And I do believe that's possible. I see it all the time in clinic where people's scores are lower today than they were a year ago. People are on less medication today than they were a year ago. That's my goal for all of you. That's my goal for everything we're trying to do here. Everything that I'm working towards falls under the heading of making Parkinson's disease preventable and reversible. So now that you've seen how much diversity there is in this disease, I think it's really important just to take a minute to check in with yourself and kind of figure out, how old are you? How long do you plan on living with this disease? And how aggressively do you want to work to slow this disease down? Because as we go through these videos and I talk about getting a good night's sleep and exercise and eating a certain way and the importance of social health and all of these things, there are going to be some things that are going to be easy for you to do, and there are going to be other things that are really quite difficult for you to do. And I inevitably get a lot of questions about cheating. Do I have to do that? Can I skip that? And the answer to the question is really, what do you want out of this? If you're 30 years old and you want to live to be 100 and you want to be in good shape when you die, the answer is there's not a lot of room for cheating. You need to prioritize sleep and exercise and diet and medications and social relationships. If you are 80 years old and you got diagnosed fairly early and you don't plan on living more than another 10 years, you know, it's probably more acceptable for you to cheat a little bit. And so once you get your score and you take your own inventory and you figure out how aggressively you need to be engage with this health condition, how aggressively you need to take on a healthy lifestyle, that'll kind of answer your question about how much wiggle room there is for optimal behavior versus cheating once in a while versus just going with the flow and letting whatever happens with this disease happen.